Sega made a Megadrive 4. Yes, that's right. Who needed a PlayStation 4 when you can instead have a Megadrive 4? As, in one place in the world, the legacy of the legendary 16-bit platform continued to evolve way past the point that most people realise. The Sega Megadrive, or the Sega Genesis as it was known in North America, because obviously none of you knew that, remains one of the most iconic consoles of the 16-bit era and remains close to many gamers' hearts to this very day. Launched in the late 1980s, it quickly established itself as a heavyweight in the gaming world. For many, the Mega Drive is synonymous with some of gaming's most legendary and unforgettable franchises, including the relentless side-scrolling action of Streets of Rage and the fast-paced adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sega's sharp edge and cool image were a perfect contrast to Nintendo's more family-friendly approach, giving gamers a choice between two very different worlds. Yet, while the Mega Drive's golden age in regions like Europe, North America and Japan eventually gave way to more advanced consoles, by the mid-90s in Brazil, the story took a different and more fascinating turn. Long after other markets moved on to 32-bit and 64-bit consoles, the Mega Drive maintained a firm foothold in the hearts of Brazilian gamers. Thanks to the efforts of Tectoy, a local distributor that partnered with Sega, the Mega Drive remained accessible and relevant in Brazil long into an era when gaming had moved on elsewhere. Tectoy's ingenuity in adapting the console and its games for the Brazilian market led to a long-lasting relationship between the Mega Drive and Brazilian gamers. This enduring presence has created a fascinating and often overlooked chapter in the history of video games, one where 16-bit gaming never really went away, but instead evolved in ways that many outside of Brazil still find surprising. Within the current gaming landscape, gamers are likely not just to admire, but also potentially feel a pinch of jealousy towards those who live in this region of the global south. Brazil and their history with Sega feels like an alternative universe to the one most of us grew up in. So today, let's celebrate that. I am Lady Decade. Hit that subscribe button, as this is the story of the wild and wonderful Mega Drive 4 and the bizarre, brilliant Sega systems that Brazil wouldn't abandon to die. For most of us, the age of 16-bit gaming ended a long time ago, nearly 30 years ago in fact. However, that doesn't mean that some of the greatest experiences that could be enjoyed in the golden era haven't been built on, expanded upon and reimagined for modern gamers who crave playstyles of old, packaged in new and exciting ways. What's even better is that I can hook you up with some of the best of these retro experiences for next to nothing. How about the amazing Sonic Mania for 77% cheaper than on Steam, reducing the price to a ludicrously low $4.74. Or how about 60% off of Streets of Rage 4? I can even get you a 24% discount on the deluxe edition of Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, a game featuring throwbacks to Sega at its best, with some even proclaiming it to be Game of the Year. Get these and up to 90% off of thousands of other games using my affiliate links. Happy shopping, and I hope you enjoy this retro deep dive. To truly appreciate Sega's enduring legacy in Brazil, we need to explore the challenges and opportunities that shaped the country's gaming market. Brazil's not only the largest nation in South America in terms of landmass, but also home to a vibrant and resilient gaming culture shaped by its own set of circumstances. With a population surpassing 200 million people, the enthusiasm for gaming runs deep. But the path to gaming prosperity is far from straightforward. Throughout the late 20th century, Brazil's gamers faced significant hurdles. The nation's prohibitive import taxes and restrictive economic policies meant that consoles manufactured abroad came with eye-watering price tags. Systems that were commonplace in North America, Europe or Japan were often luxuries beyond the reach of the average Brazilian. Yet, despite these barriers, the hunger for gaming never waned. This is where Tectoy enters the picture. In the late 1980s, recognising an opportunity that others had overlooked, Sega forged a strategic partnership with Tectoy. This collaboration allowed for the local manufacturing of Sega consoles and games, effectively bypassing import restrictions and making these beloved systems far more accessible to Brazilian gamers. Tectoy didn't stop at manufacturing. They went a step further by ensuring the Megadrive and its predecessor, the Master System, were more than just imported hardware. They became Brazilian icons. Games were translated into Portuguese, localized to reflect cultural nuances, and sometimes even developed exclusively for Brazilian audiences. While the rest of the world swiftly transitioned to the glitzy realms of 32-bit and 64-bit consoles in the mid-90s, Brazil's gaming culture took its own path. The Megadrive remained a staple of Brazilian homes, not just out of necessity, but because it delivered consistent, engaging and dependable entertainment. Let's dig in to this remarkable story in the region. The Sega Megadrive made its Brazilian debut in September 1990, arriving at a time when anticipation for cutting-edge gaming was at an all-time high. This release aligned closely with the console's launches in Europe and North America, but in Brazil, the early days of the system's existence were fairly similar to elsewhere. This meant that, just like how you might remember, the system was bundled with the side-scrolling beat-em-up Altered Beast. The Megadrive's launch pack-in game was a deliberate showcase of the console's impressive capabilities. Altered Beast was a visual and audio spectacle at the time, offering detailed graphics, fluid animations and that unforgettable synthesized voice, but this would not be the game that would help put the system on the map anywhere. As the Megadrive continued to build momentum, a blue hedgehog came speeding onto the scene and changed everything. The arrival of Sonic the Hedgehog as a pack-in game marked a significant turning point for Sega worldwide, and Brazil was no exception. Tectoy seized on Sonic's popularity, repackaging the console with Sonic the Hedgehog and marketing it as the Megadrive 2. A unique branding choice that distinguished the Brazilian home market from others, as this was really just a standard Sega Megadrive, not the system with the renewed form factor that we received elsewhere. While other regions received the revised Megadrive model known as the Sega Megadrive 2 or the Genesis 2, because no one knows that if they live in America, Brazil's early adoption of the Megadrive 2 label hinted at Tectoy's willingness to chart its own course. And chart their own course, they certainly did. Next in line was the Megadrive 3, a model that reflected the revised Megadrive 2 from everywhere else. Tectoy repackaged this version with a variety of popular titles like Street Fighter 2, Virtua Racing and FIFA International Soccer, showcasing the console's versatility and appeal to a broad spectrum of gamers. But crazy rebranding and console variants didn't stop there. Next came the Super Megadrive 3, which took things up a notch. This version came bundled with multi-cartridges like the Sega Top 10, giving gamers a collection of classics in one package. Titles such as Sonic, Golden Axe and Streets of Rage ensured that players had immediate access to some of the best games the system had to offer. But wait, there's more! Brazil would receive games we didn't get elsewhere. Tectoy capitalized on local pop culture, including the hit Brazilian game show Show do Milhão. Show do Milhão.
Show do Milhão.
That one. A quiz game show inspired by Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I used to love Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I want to be a millionaire too, so I'm going to asked the audience to please subscribe. You don't need to phone a friend, and it's not 50-50. Just do it. As Sega's absurd era in Brazil continued, a subtle but significant design shift occurred. The release of the grey-coloured Super Megadrive 3. This redesign drew inspiration from Sony's 32-bit aesthetics, reflecting how Tectoy kept its finger on the pulse of design trends to appeal to contemporary tastes. Even the box art evolved, featuring Dreamcast-era depictions of Sonic with his sleek, modern look, despite the games themselves retaining their classic 16-bit visuals. This blend of old and new kept the Mega Drive feeling relevant and stylish. By the late 2000s, Tectoy wasn't content with simply keeping the Mega Drive alive. They were determined to reinvent it for a new era of gamers. With the global gaming industry evolving rapidly, Tectoy turned its attention to the design trends shaping the market. Remember when Sega did what Nintendo don't? Well, after leaving the console wars elsewhere, Tectoy would seemingly look to Nintendo for inspiration. One console in particular that was making waves was the Nintendo Wii, with its sleek, minimalist aesthetic and motion-based controls. In 2008, inspired by this modern gaming sensation, Tectoy unveiled the Wii Megadrive. Obviously, that's not the official term, but let's be honest, what was it supposed to be? The design featured a completely overhauled form factor that resembled the clean lines and compact shape of the Nintendo Wii. It was a Mega Drive for the contemporary gamer, blending retro gameplay with a modern console aesthetic. The Wii Mega Drive came loaded with 86 pre-installed games, offering a comprehensive collection of classic titles along with some surprising additions. Among these were ports of Electronic Arts mobile games, including The Sims 2, FIFA Street and FIFA 2008. It was yet another example of Tectoy's willingness to experiment and push the boundaries of what the Mega Drive could offer. However, not everyone was on board with this bold reinvention. Online communities were quick to poke fun at the Wii Mega Drive's unconventional appearance, with some comparing it to grills, sandwich makers, or children's lunchboxes. Despite the ridicule, there was something undeniably charming about this quirky attempt to modernise a beloved classic. The Sega Megadrive 4 was their attempt to tap into a specific trend that was sweeping the gaming world: rhythm games. In the late 2000s, titles like Guitar Hero and Rock Band had taken the industry by storm, transforming living rooms into stages for wannabe rock stars. Not one to miss out on a popular craze, Tectoy saw an opportunity to merge 16-bit nostalgia with the excitement of shredding virtual guitars. The Sega Megadrive 4 came with Guitar Idol, a unique rhythm game with its own guitar-shaped peripheral. Seriously, how cool and ridiculous is Brazilian Sega history? Despite its retro foundation, Guitar Idol captured the spirit of its contemporary counterparts, offering a selection of rock tracks and a gameplay experience that encouraged players to strum along with the music. While it lacked the polish and depth of Guitar Hero, it made up for it with a hefty dose of nostalgic fun. For Brazilian gamers, it was a chance to experience the thrill of rhythm games without needing a costly modern console. This curious hybrid of old school hardware and new school trends might have seemed outlandish to some, but for others, it served as another delightful chapter in the ever-evolving Sega and Tectoy story. As Tectoy continued to innovate and keep the Mega Drive alive in the region, they recognised that gamers wanted to revisit classic titles on their own terms. This led to the introduction of handheld Mega Drives, a perfect fusion of nostalgia and portability. Inspired by the global popularity of compact retro devices like those produced by AtGames, these handheld systems allowed players to enjoy their favourite 16-bit adventures whenever and wherever they pleased. These portable consoles came preloaded with a selection of classic Mega Drive titles, offering a curated experience that captured the essence of the original system. Whether you were dodging deadly traps in Shinobi, smashing through hordes of enemies in Golden Axe, or racing through loops with Sonic the Hedgehog, these handhelds provided a convenient dose of retro fun. While not without flaws, critics often cited screen quality or emulation issues, the handhelds were undeniably charming. They proved that even in an age of powerful smartphones and cutting-edge consoles, there was still a place for simple, pick-up-and-play experiences that celebrated Sega's legacy. Essentially, simple retro fun on the go. In 2017, Tectoy took its commitment to nostalgia a step further by releasing a faithful recreation of the original Mega Drive. For many, this was like the Mega Drive they remembered, reborn with all the magic of the early 90s intact. Packaged with the iconic Altered Beast, the 2017 Nostalgia Edition tapped directly into the memories of those who had experienced the console's original launch. That spine-tingling command to rise from your grave once again filled Brazilian living rooms, evoking a time when the Mega Drive represented the cutting edge of gaming. The inclusion of a cartridge slot allowed players to dust off their old game collections and relive their favourite adventures, while the console itself stayed true to the design and feel of the original hardware. As we look to the future, one thing remains certain. In Brazil, the spirit of Sega lives on. The pixelated adventures, the synthesized soundtracks, and the unmistakable thrill of 16-bit gaming continues to inspire, entertain, and unite generations of gamers. In a world where gaming trends come and go, Brazil's enduring love for the Mega Drive reminds us that great gaming experiences are timeless. Sega's legacy in Brazil is far from over. It's a living, evolving story that continues to inspire gamers, both old and new, around the world. Don't forget that I too would like to be a millionaire, so please subscribe. But I also want to help you all out. 16-bit gaming may be a relic of the past, but its magic lives on in modern reimaginings. Grab Sonic Mania for just $4.74, which is 77% off of Steam's price, or snag Streets of Rage 4 for 60% off. You can even score 24% off the deluxe edition of Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, a nostalgic hit that some are calling Game of the Year. Plus, you can get up to 90% off of thousands more games with my affiliate links. Or, if you want to support my channel in a more personal way and gain access to my behind-the-scenes cosplay library and more by becoming a backer over on Patreon. See you soon.